Boy, it's so hot in Dallas, Texas, man. All right, guys, this will be my last live. My last live. Wah, wah, wah. Right? This is my last live. Okay. I'm gonna let a few people come off in here. I'm gonna tell you what's so dangerous going on over there with Lezlee Pinkerton. I'm gonna tell you about Lezlee Pinkerton. Y'all wanna know about Lezlee Pinkerton? I'm gonna tell you about Lezlee Pinkerton. All right? Woo! Y'all wanna hear about Lezlee Pinkerton? Doug's got her over there, huh? I'll tell you about Lezlee Pinkerton. You wanna find out about Lezlee Pinkerton? Goddamn me, I'm gonna tell you, boy. Hello, everyone. Hello. So, there was no way for Doug. Let me tell you about what happened. I was trying to get out of this whole thing. And Doug wanted a story. As you can see, I put all of this content over on his channel. He got addicted to the new flow. Hi, Emma. Hi, beautiful. I'm gonna turn this chat off for just a minute, guys. I love all these. I'm just gonna turn it off so I can, you know me. So, Aussie was like, we're not gonna deal with this case. It's open and shut. I said, I agree. And then I just started seeing the plethoras of oh man, this is a celebration. So I'm gonna have me a joint, guys. It's a celebration. I can finally be done with YouTube. Right? I have such an amazing family and child and home, and I have a pending brain surgery coming up. I don't need to be worried about Dougie and what the fuck he's got going on over there. So I'm gonna kick it to you straight. All right. So Doug, I wanted to get out all this shit because it started to get dangerous. Right? Hold on, guys, while I plug up. Ugh. Okay, we're almost ready. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right, there we go. Let me go and check the schematics out real quick here. Hold on, guys. Do I got a charge? There's the charge. All right, where's my damn joint? We'll be here about 30 minutes. 45 minutes. We ain't gonna be here that long. So, let me tell you about Lezlee Pinkerton. Doug doesn't even know about Lezlee Pinkerton because I kept it away from him. I wanted out of all this, and Doug started saying, I need all the screenshots between you and Monica and Trevor. I said, I'm not gonna give them to you, Doug. This is over. So he did a live, and during that live, he started putting out false information. And I started receiving threatening calls as a result of Doug's work. Okay? So he's got Lezlee, well, it's not even Lezlee Pinkerton over there. It's a sock account. We've done this many of times. He does that. It's what he does. He'll create some sort of sock account and then have one of his friends run it. And, well, it's not his friend, but he'll have somebody run it nonetheless and make it seem like he's getting insider information. He's not. But in the event that that's the real Miss Pinkerton, let me tell you about Miss Pinkerton. Let me tell you why Monica said that her relationship with Darian and the relationship with Cameron and Darian was what it was. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why? Okay. Oh, okay. So, that used to be Lezlee and Kurt's house, right? So, unfortunately, Monica had a debt to pay to society. And Lezlee Pinkerton ran off with Monica's kids for 2 years. And when Monica got to the end of her stay and she came home, Lezlee and Kurt had rented that house over there. Now, in the 2-year time that Lezlee had taken Monica's kids from her, well, let me start back. Miss Pinkerton has a crazy, vicious prescription pill problem. I saw her at the balloon release and her old eyes were boing, 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 boing. Oh boy. Mr. Pinkerton, you know, I don't know about him, but you with me so far? Lezlee's got those kids of Monica's. She moves into the house on Florina, right? Monica gets out of jail. She's rehabilitated, right? She wants to be with her kids. So they found out where the kids were. Lezlee was hiding them, stipending the money, fucking around with the monies and shit. We tell you what else she did. While she was living there, Lezlee thought it would be good to let Darian live there at that house for a whole school year. 9 or 10 months, Lezlee let him live there. That's where the relationship to Brown and his family comes in, right? So let me tell you what happened. Alex and Darian, both boys, get into some drug issues, get caught doing some drugs and stuff, and they end up over there at Lezlee's house. Let's say, for lack of a better term, because that's what it is. Over at Lezlee's house. This is why Lezlee is so adamant about what's going on here. Because Lezlee introduced this boy into that house, let him stay there, and his brother for 10 months, a whole school year. Then, Miss Brown, at some point, I'm not assuming after 9 or 10 months, but at some point, Miss Brown calls fucking CPS on Lezlee. Miss Brown says, I want my boys back. They went back, right? Something else happened over there at the Brown house. And here come Darian again. All right? Lezlee Pinkerton invited this boy in that house. Lezlee Pinkerton continues to do all she can do against her daughter because Lezlee Pinkerton knows she's the one to blame for having Darian in that house. Darian knows the layout of that house because of Lezlee. Leslie's an opportunist. So is her husband, Kurt. Kurt likes to go around and look for, hey, I'm in the middle of a lawsuit. But Kurt's a career lawsuit searcher. He's always looking for somewhere to get hurt at. That's what I've heard. I don't know that to be true. I just know that's what I heard. So Doug, in his eagerness to get a story and to make about 30 bucks on his best friend, me, he made a live and started disseminating false information about Monica. I started to receive calls from who I think was the younger brother Alex, or who I think it is still. It's his younger brother Alex and those fucking fuckwads, right? Little kids want to mess with a grown man and have something bad happen to him. I don't want that, right? But Doug put that in my life. Doug kept saying, Benny, you got to turn on Monica. I said, turn on Monica? What are you talking about? What? Turn on her for what? Well, you're an investigative reporter. I said, I'm not. At that moment, I knew I wasn't. See, let me tell you about Doug. Doug lives in a fucking Toyota van. Doug's van, he calls it a vansion, like a mansion, but V-A-N. Doug, in his behavior and his substance abuse issues, have pushed him onto this island where he lives in a fucking van. Now, I'm sure he's going to spend a bunch of time and try to, create text or whatever the fuck he wants to do to fit his narrative. So Doug did what he did. And then when I called him and confronted him about it, he acted like an idiot. Well, 2 days before him and I fell out, I noticed that his drinking and his slurring started to happen very early in the day. Usually it's in the evening, very early in the day. On the second day, he calls me and he's got this rhythm to his voice. And I'm like, where have I heard this rhythm before? He was interviewing me and recording me at the same time. And I said, Doug, why are you recording me, dude? He says, oh, Benny, in his best slurred voice, oh, Benny, I'm not recording you. I said, yeah, you are, Doug. You're recording me right now. You just put on your interview mask. So later that night, he continues to pressure me again. He says, oh, I created a live for 7:30. We're going to go on there and we're going to air it all out. And I said, Doug, there's nothing to air out, okay? There's nothing new worthy of airing out. So I dismissed him. That was the wrong thing to do. Doug felt slighted. So Doug went ahead and just went live. And then during the live, I made contact with him. And he took the live down. And you haven't seen it since. I'm sure after this, you good people will have an opportunity to see that. So, I don't know. This is the same thing Doug did very early on, right, in the West case. Now, Nina, I thought Nina was a great guy. I think Nina probably is a great guy in there. He just also suffers from the dynamics of the YouTube, and there's just, when you're a real man and you're caught in that place where you just can't fucking win, you do things out of your character. So to Nina, boy, I apologize, bro. It's all part of the game. Take it or leave it. I don't give a damn. But what Doug did was I worked with Nina, and Nina was able to do some investigating, and he got a piece of audio from a lady, and we had teamed up with Doug. And so Nina and myself, we let Doug listen to the audio. Meanwhile, Doug is recording the audio. Subsequently, a couple of days after that, Doug didn't get his way about something, and so he released the audio. Nina immediately calls me and he's like, Benny, bro, what the fuck is this? I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? And he's like, bro, this fool released the shit. And I'm like, what do you mean? It took me a minute to catch up. I said, what are you talking about, Nina? He said, Doug just released the audio that we have. So I reach out, and so of course Nina's like, bro, you got to fix that. And in the moment, I felt like Nina was trying to trample on my manhood. And so I created this issue with Nina because of what Doug did. Now, it was the lesser of two evils. It was, do I allow Nina to keep talking to me a certain way about what Doug did, and we were all three together. So what I did is the lesser of two evils was I checked Nina first. That didn't go well. I just said, look here, bro, you're not gonna be talking to me any kind of crazy way, bro. I'm a grown ass man, bro. Fuck you. Nina and I's relationship wasn't substance filled enough that we could make it through that. So what you've seen is a whole war created by Doug's interaction, right? It wasn't even an interaction that Doug pulled off in order to get views. That one was just to create a rift between me and Nina. And it worked. Doug is very fluent and efficient in the way he fucks people over online, right? When I came into this, I had no idea who the fuck Doug was. I had people by the thousands saying, you gotta leave him alone, you gotta leave him alone. And what I did was I gave Doug something no one has ever given Doug in his life, which was an unconditional friendship, no judgment. And I also didn't weigh him by the sins of what other people said he had done. I gave him a fresh slate with me, right? I combated all the things when people would say, oh, look at the back of his calves. He's got this and that. No, Doug doesn't have that. This would be the opportunity for me to tell you if Doug was a closet racist. I could, I'd love to be able to say, yeah, Doug's a closet racist. Doug's not a closet racist, okay? Let's just put that right out. What Doug is hungry for a story. I get it. I understand. I've been doing this now for 6 months, going on 6 months, almost 160 days, 70 days. He's been doing this for 3 years. So he's very efficient and profoundly more fluent in the way that all this works than I am, But when he was getting threats in California on a case that I was working from Texas, he would tell me things and I would heed it because he was actually there. You heard him say all over, I don't know what videos Benny was making, but I always supported him. He always supported what Benny had going on, even if he didn't listen to it. So when he would say, hey man, that's no good, or that's too far, I because he was my best friend, I'd say, yes, Doug, you're right. Okay. Even if I didn't see it that way, I would empathize with him immediately because he had the trump card. He lived in California. I don't. Now, Doug brought himself around to Mike the neighbors and over there and got himself arrested for trespassing. That didn't have nothing to do with nobody else except for Doug down there running his mouth and doing what he does. He could have played that differently, but he didn't. He did it the Doug way, right? So when we come over on this thing, I knew what Doug was up to because he kept picking and bugging and not, I don't want to say not begging, bugging about wanting all. So I have a complete set of all the conversation between Monica and Trevor. And Doug, at the beginning of my involvement in this, well, man, I need that. And when he said, I need that, my spidey senses immediately were raised because I was like, bro, we're best friends. We're working this together. Like, why do you need that? It's one thing to say, oh man, I'd like, or I want to take a look at them. I probably would have sent them right over. So it was at that point when he said he needed it, I became very suspicious because his agenda was changing from what my agenda was. See, Doug knew my agenda from the beginning, but Doug could not handle the fact that I have information that I'm not releasing online. It drove him absolutely batshit. I get it. I'm not a journalist. Found that out the hard way. Lost a best friend. I'm getting threats in my life, in my real life, from people in Texas because of what Doug's doing in Ventura County, California. From the spacious luxury of his couch in his van. Right? That's shameful. That's shameful. So as a result of that, I've been given a choice. Right? Go hard, go to war, or bring the channel down. Man, Doug's the better guy. I got more square footage, but Doug's the better man. I refuse to travel through the threats and the things that could happen by continuing this case because of what Doug has done.
Are you doing it?
I won't do it. I won't put my family through it. I had people close to me and that love me by the hundreds that say, dude, you got to get rid of that guy. I'm sure he had the same thing. Doug and I were a toxic mix. We were a toxic mix. I had some of the greatest times that I can remember as of late on the phone with Doug, right? Like I don't know Doug. I didn't know Doug. I don't know Doug. I thought I knew Doug. I don't know Doug. I don't know anything about Doug. I couldn't even definitively say within a shadow of a doubt where the man even lives at, because it's somewhere new every day. And that should have been a tall tale sign to me. And I was naive coming in here. I treated people on YouTube the way that I treat people, new people, from where I can touch them and get in their life if they do me wrong, right? I couldn't do that here. So I was outnumbered and outmatched and outwitted from the jump, thinking that YouTube people were anything like real life people. They're not. They're not. They're not. So, I'm done. I'm just done. I can't compete with these people. They're scammers. They have no investment into the community or into the victims. They have shit channels with 25,000 subscribers, but they get, like fucking 10% interaction. So really they don't have a voice, right? They've created all these subscribers from all these bullshit things they've been involved in. I've been involved in too. And I get 100% interaction. I get the same views as someone like Doug with a 20,000 channel subscription. Meanwhile, the whole time, I don't see that this guy's trying to hold me down. Manipulating me to do all my research and shit over on his channel. Guess what? You seen him with a notebook today, huh? He's got to now. He don't have no fucking Benny. You lose your fucking Benny and you got to get out pad and paper, don't you? You lose your Benny and you lose access to the super chats and the fucking cash apps and the shit that comes from making shit look like it's kind of put together. I'm ashamed of you, Doug. And you want to know what? I'm even more ashamed of myself. That I didn't listen. Like, I had idiots, real life fucking idiots, like AV Watchmen and AV News Crew, like real fucking numbskulls telling me they can't keep their own fucking sandwich in the bag, and they're like, don't fuck with Doug, bro. He's gonna fuck you over. They were fucking right. Right? So then I get a call 4 days ago from the fucking Plano police. And they're like, hey, Mr. Lindsay, I need to talk to you about some threats that were reported concerning a lady named Tondri. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, well, there's a report been generated, that someone from California wants to now press terroristic threats against Doug. But because the scenario was whipped up in a community post where AV Watchman was talking about me, his mom, and Doug, the police, when AV Watchman reached out to them, the police automatically assumed I was in on it. And I said, no, I wasn't in on it. I didn't even know Doug when he was out there threatening that lady. I didn't even know Doug. And they said, okay, well, we're going to do some more looking around and yada, 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 and we'll get back to you. And then they called me back like 2 hours later, and they're like, okay, it's clear you don't have a connection. I said, I am connected to no thanks, but not like that. No, I didn't threaten nobody with him, right? And then they said, oh, did you come to California from Texas and punch Mr. Lakios's, and he said it in his, silliest comedians, his silliest Seth Rogen voice. Yeah, we think you might have hopped a plane invisibly and went down there and beat up his blind mom and then evaded all airport security on your way back. I said, yeah, maybe. Right? So, yeah, I mean, we don't have any cellular activity from you at all over there. So, hold on, wife, I'm almost through. So, yeah. Doug and Lezlee. See, that's one thing I never told Doug. He didn't know. Lezlee brought that boy over there. You want to blame somebody? Blame Lezlee, right? Because Monica was smart enough to know from the jump that Darian Brown was a fucking piece of shit. She came home and had heard all about him. This wasn't no new shit he just started. He'd been doing this for fucking years. Yeah, his mother incubated a fucking reptilian nightmare. Who likes to fucking fuck on and stab little white kids and little Mexican kids. Yep. No, this is my last live.
But you don't
Man, please. Right. So, Miss Pinkerton is trying to run from the fact that she is the reason why Darian Brown was ever there in the first place. Right? Lezlee Pinkerton saw a financial opportunity to take care of the two Brown boys and try to get the parents to pay child support or something. She can also get the free fast cash here, right? Where you can, walk up to where they give you the EBT cards and say, oh, I need some Instacash. I'm caring for somebody. Like, that's what she was doing. You think I'm lying? Track Lezlee Pinkerton down and ask her. Yeah. She let Darian live there a whole school year with his younger brother, Alex, while Monica wasn't even there. Right? That house is in her mom's name. Lezlee is very manipulative. That's not what Monica's told me. This is what I see from her. See, she doesn't understand that I know she let that boy live over there for 9 months, 10 months. So why is she's the one acting strange? Because Monica doesn't know Darian. Not like that. Not as good as Lezlee and Kurt. Lezlee and Kurt know that boy real good. In fact, they have a vested interest to make sure that they make anybody look bad because they introduced him in. Yeah. Lezlee did that, y'all. Lezlee let them boys live there twice. The second time was very abbreviated. And I don't know if Alex was there with him or not. But Darian and Alex were at the hip, right? Right? Where Darian would go, Alex would follow. So yeah, Doug, you just had the very lady on that brought Darian into this situation. You got the very woman feeding you backwards information so as to hide the fact that she's the one that introduced this boy into that house. Now, what I'm gonna deduce is that after saying that Lezlee Pinkerton and Kurt Pinkerton brought that boy over there first, I bet you she's gonna get real strange on social media. What do you bet? Because after this, people are gonna go, oh, Lezlee, this guy's saying you let Darian over there. Well, guys, if you've ever had somebody lie to you on social media or in real life, you know what that looks like, right? You're about to see a whole lot of it. You're about to see a whole lot of it. Right? That may or not be something that Monica would ever have wanted me to say. But, you know, I made an executive decision. A real executive decision. To expose a few things and then get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna get away from the sodomites, right? I got a beautiful son that every time I look away from one of these fucked up cases, he's this much taller, right? I'm gonna keep fucking around here and get done with this case and be looking up at that boy. Man, I'm not gonna throw that away for this shit here. Although I have met some great people here, some really life changing, like some keepers. I've met some keepers in here. I've met some women and men in here that I know have somebody that loves them a whole lot, right? We all have somebody, right? Most of us, right? Yeah, we all have somebody to talk to rely on, to vent to cry to laugh with, to celebrate with, to applaud with, to grieve with, to have sorrow with. We all have that. If you don't, you need to ask yourself, what is it about you that keeps you from having the things that are guaranteed in life? Right? Miss Pinkerton, you need to now tell the world you're the one that brought him over there, not Monica. You keep putting your fucking daughter in harm's way and those grandkids because you won't stand up for your daughter and say the right shit because you don't want the truth about you to come out. Lezlee Pinkerton brought that boy over there. Let him stay for a whole school year. When Monica got out of jail, said no more Darian. And she's been fighting every single day to keep him away from her family. But let me tell you what, the house is in her mom's name. Lezlee, she has a real affinity for Alex and for Darian. Well, I'm sure before this it was a real infinity. Now she'd lie on that boy to save her own skin, huh? She sure would. She'd lie on her daughter. Hell, she'd lie on her grandkids. If she cared about those grandkids she kept for Monica for 2 years and introduced them and made them live with Darian Brown, what? What? Darian Brown wouldn't know how to sneak in that house, would he? Not unless Miss Lezlee said, come on in. Here's your room. You can put your clothes right here, baby. So then Monica's dealing with the fallout. She gets home from jail. Her mom says, here's your kids, here's the house. Went and got herself something else, right? Right? Of course. So you want to know what Monica has to deal with? It's just like it's her own house, but if she doesn't do what the fuck Lezlee wants her to do, she's threatened with it. Right? Lezlee Pinkerton let that boy come over there when it was her house. She made the cognitive decision to allow that boy who was having trouble at his own house, and his own parents didn't want him there. She let him come over there. She didn't let a church boy come over there. She didn't let a boy with a newspaper route come over there. She didn't let a boy that goes around the neighborhood trying to cut lawns. No. She let a fledgling fucking lunatic. Lezlee Pinkerton, you're also the reason I'm done with all this. You got these people that rush to this fucking internet. You got the Barry Morphews of the world and the Chad Daybells and the Lori Vallows of the world. Ma'am, if you gave a damn about your grandkids, even one of them, even one of those dogs in that house, you'd stand up for your daughter and you'd tell the truth about how the fuck that family over there knows Darian Brown. They know Darian Brown because you made them. Because you can't mind your business and you're dipping in everybody else's shit, right? I mean, Lezlee is one of those people that I think that I don't know this to be the truth, but I think that she tries to convince people that she's saving someone. Any of us smart ones out here, you can't save shit. You can't even hardly save leftovers. You certainly aren't going to save nobody who is doing just what the fuck they want to do. All you can do is plant a seed and keep it pushing, right? Okay. People say Darian had to have lived there. You're right. But when Monica tells you what she tells you, it's in relation to herself. I'm sorry that there's a lot of people out there that can't dictate the difference. Or they're like, no. Yeah. Man, smash that like button, man. This is the last time, man. Let's do something special real quick, huh? Smash the like button, man. Quit playing. If I don't get 218 likes in this bitch, I'm gonna shut it down. This is the last one. And I'm not gonna shut it down, guys. I'm not gonna shut it down. Man, pound on them likes, man. I don't give a fuck if you don't like me or not, and if you're in this bitch, man, smash that like button, man. Quit playing with me, man. Smash that fucking like button. God damn me. The fuck is this? So Doug, man, I know what you're trying to do, bro. And I think that it was aimed out there in the land of the good. But see, because I knew what you were doing, I couldn't tell you everything, bro. And now you're out here and you've aligned yourself with the problem. Lezlee Pinkerton is not a witness. She's the entity that gave a key to the front door of that house to that boy that butchered that other boy. You're fucking right, she did. Monica, she can't stand Darian. Look at him. The fuck? People are like, oh yeah, Monica had a relationship with Darian. Let me tell you what, Monica likes country music and shit-kicking white boys. That's what Monica likes. She doesn't like black dudes that, are whatever, right? Darian's not her flavor, right? Let's just say it that way. That's not her flavor. Her children are all Caucasian, right? I mean, it's just anything that somebody can do because Lezlee refuses to tell the truth about the situation over there. Again, I'm sure Monica will be very unhappy about this. She may never talk to me again, and I understand why you would. I understand, Monica. But when I see your mom out here doing what she's doing, I'm a mandated reporter, honey. And I don't mean reporter in terms of journalism. I mean, man, boy, I'd tell Jesus. I'm telling Jesus on Lezlee Pinkerton right now. Jesus, rebuke that. Expose that, Jesus. Let the world know who Lezlee Pinkerton is for real. A lot of you didn't even see it. Maybe you did. Go back to the balloon release. You'll hear Lezlee Pinkerton snapping and barking at Monica, trying to start an argument about the balloons. When this is Monica's whole deal here. This don't have shit to do with Lezlee. Everyone was in that park because Lezlee let that boy in that house. That's why we were at that park, Lezlee. And you came over there with them wild-eyed and crazy eyes of yours and tried to make sure you stood right by the police, man. You know what you done. You done that. You let that boy in that fucking house. And you're running around here lying on other folks. I ain't made my mind up about you yet, Kurt. But I'll tell you what's wrong with this case is the Pinkertons. Two specifically. They started out by saying, go look at Kurt's. I don't know if he's pulled it down or not. I don't give a shit at this point. Kurt went on there and said, oh, there was a second person. He followed around. He videoed it. And then he gave the phone to the police. That's from Kurt Pinkerton. Monica wanted to keep the investigation in the hands of the police. Then she got tricked by the Daily UK. Isn't that a tabloid? How the fuck can you believe anything that a tabloid puts out when they base it on lies and dramatizations? Monica thought that the Daily UK had her back like I do. And so she talked to them. Let me tell you another thing. You ever heard of a Freedom of Information Act? Yeah. As soon as you know something's there, it's available to be pulled. How could Monica have posted that video, guys? The cops got the whole system. I assure you that they did not leave portions of the video or the video in its entirety on Monica's phone so she could share it on social media. That is not how the police get down, y'all. You know that. So who does that leave? We had a Dallas police officer 2 years ago. She got a 10-piece for shooting a man in his own fucking apartment, and she thought it was in her apartment. She opens the door and she sees a black man sitting on his own couch, and none of the shit in the apartment registers to her as not being hers, and so she smokes him. You got police all around this fucking nation doing the wrong shit. Google or YouTube. Dirty police, and then put in for the week of May, whatever the fuck this is, and you'll see all the nasty police that been fucked over just this week here. And you know what? You'll get a blister right here from doing this. It doesn't stop. What happened? The Dallas police leaked that footage. Now, I'm going to say leaked because we have this strange thing called the Freedom of Information Act. When they designed it, they knew what they were doing. They knew things that should remain confidential. They're not covered under the umbrella of the FOIA. Okay? So as soon as you know something's there, you can go apply for that FOIA and you can get it, right? Do you think that okay, so if you think the Daily Mail paid Monica for that story, how much do you think she would have accepted to let them portray her that way? I don't know. To make me out like they done them, and that's all editing, guys. That's all camera angles, that's all different filters. It's whatever they can do. I'm a video expert. I could make someone look like they're almost half dead. There's a lot of different things you can do very quickly with a high-powered computer that will organically and naturally looking change what someone looks like. Play with me. So, the Daily UK or the Daily Mail, they're also responsible for putting out shit like, Burke Ramsey killed John Bonet. That's what they do. That's what they do. Right? She didn't buy shit she didn't sell shit to them people. She thought someone was going to give her some protection from what she knew was going on online because now, 30 years ago, we didn't have this problem. Monica would only have one problem, and that would be the fuckheads around her house that are vandalizing it and threatening her. She wouldn't even have to deal with the online issue as a dynamic at all. Right? She got caught in a spot. She got caught in a spot where her mom had her kids and more control over her and had already introduced the devil to them. Monica knew he was the devil. She did what she could do, but she could not cross Lezlee. As soon as you cross Lezlee, you know what Lezlee does? Lezlee calls the CPS and tries to have her kids yanked away every time. Lezlee gets away with it because she has such a pill issue, but she gets the gist of them via a prescription. Where you going, babe?
Dinner.
Oh, it's time?
Yeah.
Oh.
We going to the restaurant.
We're going to the restaurant?
Yeah, you have come.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you have it, guys. There you have it. Going to the restaurant. I'm going to do real people shit. All right? I'm going to integrate myself back into my family. Because they don't even know who the hell I am anymore. Right? So, parting gift. If I'm lying, I'm crying, and I ain't shed a tear. Lezlee Pinkerton brought that boy into this family. God bless you all. And I'll catch you on the flip side.